We'll be joined in this broadcast by some of the sharpest reporters on Indian television. I want to introduce my colleagues who've been out and about through this election, starting with headlines. Today's National Affairs editor, Javed Ansari, a veteran of many election. Morning, Javed. Welcome. We've also got with us at the BJP headquarters, Gaurav Sawant, my colleague Shiv Arur joining us this morning from the Congress headquarters, and Simi Pasha joining us from Varanasi. And I want to go across to the town of the Lords. Varanasi early this morning, the election epicenter in the last and final phase, the constituency of the possible future Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, who faces a tough fight or a spirited fight against Arvind Kejriwal. Give our viewers a sense, Simi, this morning of the atmospherics along the ghats of the River Ganga in the historic city of Varanasi. Morning, Simi. Welcome.
Good morning, Rahul. Yes, it's a peaceful start for the day for Varanasi. This city is again set to create history. As you can see, the morning Aarti has just gotten over hundreds of pilgrims on the banks of River Ganga. They've come to pray. This city will be electing the future Prime Minister of the country. Either that or they'll be producing a giant killer. The verdict is still out on that. In the next 5 hours, we'll start getting early trends. By the time the evening Aarti happens, this city will know what it's produced. It's going to create history. It's a city that's known as a historical center. It's known as a spiritual center of the country, and now it's also emerged as a political capital. Narendra Modi set to emerge victorious. Lots of people saying that, but there's equal support for Arvind Kejriwal. For now, the BSP and the SP, in fact, looking quite dismal. We also spoke to the candidate, Kailash Chaurasiya, last evening. He said he was actually fighting for the third or fourth place this election. So let's see the big verdict expected today. The city clearly gearing up for a historical verdict.
There's been a lot of chai pe charcha in Varanasi, and hopefully when we come back next time, we can have some people having chai with Simi Pasha. I want to go across to Gaurav Sawant, and I want to introduce at this time my colleague Rishika Barua. She's joining us from Vadnagar. If you haven't been following the elections, Vadnagar is Narendra Modi's birth town, historic village, beautiful town. We were there with the Election Express. Rishika is joining us from there. But before that, to Gaurav Sawant. Gaurav, you're at the BJP headquarters. I'm told that tons of laddus, crackers have already been brought in. Give our viewers a sense of the build-up at the BJP headquarters, which seems to be getting set for a definite victory in their view. They think that nothing can go wrong. Are they convinced that the exit polls are all coming out to be true? Because they've been bitten twice over in the past. Are they sure this time it won't be third time unlucky?
Well, 2,500 kgs of laddu ready to be distributed.
Wow.
They're just
That's
waiting for one Ganesh Aarti. They're waiting for one Ganesh Aarti at 6:30 this morning, and then they start waiting for early trends. There's a giant screen that's been put up. This screen is yet to be displayed, and this is where election trends come in. There's massive police deployment around this place. The road outside has been completely barricaded. Massive police deployment. No vehicular movement allowed this side. Now, at this point of time, of course, you have over 50 cubicles that have been prepared around this place for national and international television and regional television channels to go live. Now, the BJP, of course, confident they'll get the numbers. In fact, they think the way we've been giving them 272 plus minus 11, they think it's going to cross 300, Rahul.
Okay, those numbers last evening were revised by our psephologists to 276. Last moment correction. You know, it's almost like an exam sheet is being asked for by the teacher, and the student keeps wanting to make last moment changes. I want to go across to Shiv Arur. Shiv, we saw some pictures in our newspaper mail today. People were playing cricket. Most Congress leaders crying out of this live coverage this morning on one pretext or the other. Describe the atmospherics at the Congress headquarters this morning, Shiv.
Rahul, I can tell you that if the cricket starts being played after noon, I'm probably going to join in, because if there's a comparison between atmospherics of where I'm standing and where Gaurav and Simi are standing, then it's no competition, definitely. Now, remember that, over the last few days, we've seen many senior Congress leaders people like Ajit Jogi, now Sandeep Dikshit and Rashid Alvi come out and say pretty despondent things about what they're expecting from this election. The Congress has tried to distance itself, but I can tell you that where I'm standing right now, early this morning, Rahul, the only real atmospherics, the only real bustle we're getting is from all the journalists here, including the large TV Today contingent here right now, expecting Congress leaders to come in. They had that hectic meeting yesterday where they, decided a strategy on how they're actually going to face the press, the things they're actually going to say in response to the very tough questions, because it's a turbulent time. You had that last bit of turbulence where Rahul Gandhi skipped the Prime Minister's dinner. You had senior leaders come out and literally concede defeat even before the numbers were actually out. So it's a troubled time as far as the Congress is concerned.
Okay.
Huge questions face them.
Javed, the Congress seems reconciled to defeat. Kamal Nath virtually conceded defeat even before the first vote was counted. Praful Patel explained why the Congress is losing. Rahul Gandhi stays away from the Prime Minister's dinner. Now, he's already taken several missteps that have been criticized all through the election campaign. He doesn't show up for the Prime Minister's dinner. Will we expect Rahul Gandhi, as there have been some reports, to actually come out and accept defeat if that were to happen around noon or thereafter this afternoon? Or will we see Congress missing in action through the day?
No, I think I'm given to understand that Rahul Gandhi will make a statement to the media. The time has not been fixed, maybe sometime in the afternoon.
Where did he go and why? Why didn't he attend the Prime Minister's dinner?
Well, we're told that he took a break. Nobody's willing to say where he went, but he was certainly out of town. He called on the Prime Minister on Saturday.
Does he not realize it's bad form to be missing in action such a day?
Well, obviously, if he realized it, then he did nothing about it. And it's extremely bad form and sends absolutely just the wrong kind of signals. It just reinforces the impression that some people have of him, that he's a sporadic, he's not a 24/7
He doesn't have his heart
politician. He's not a 24/7 politician that he needs. It's for him, it's from Monday to Friday and then 2 days off, which is not very good for him, especially in these circumstances where the Congress is fighting the fight of its life.
I want to go across now to the beautiful town of Vadnagar. My colleague Rishika Barua is joining us from there. Rishika, this is where Narendra Modi sold tea as a young kid at the platform of Vadnagar. This is also where he went to school. This is where he was born. You got a beautiful setting this morning. Describe to our viewers the sense of anticipation among the residents of Vadnagar as they wait for their favorite chaiwala to become Prime Minister.
Well, Rahul, it's a sleepy town. As you can guess, there are hardly any people. I can count the number of people I've seen since the morning. But yesterday evening, Vadnagar was the atmosphere here was completely electrifying. The entire town is lit up in anticipation of this town giving India its next Prime Minister. Now, everywhere else in the country, you'll find an anti-Modi brigade. You'll find people who support other candidates. But I doubt very much that in this town, you'll find any Modi detractor. So they've already, the sense of anticipation is obviously there, but they've pretty much taken it for granted that this sleepy old town of Vadnagar has in fact given India its next Prime Minister. Hopefully when I speak to you next, I'll have some people who've probably, woken up and surfaced and I can talk to them. As of now, there's really nobody here who I can even get a word in from. But yesterday, the atmosphere was completely electrifying. People very excited in anticipation. The town completely lit up. And we're likely to see a lot of that color emerge from Vadnagar even later today.
Okay, this is a town, Javed, that's brimming with anticipation. And in that sense, Narendra Modi's journey from the platforms of Vadnagar to being the possible Prime Minister of India really epitomizes the Indian dream. People talk of the American dream, but this is the epitome of the Indian dream, where a man from as humble an origin as this can at least aspire to be Prime Minister. We'll know soon enough if he fulfills that desire, but he's aspired, he's fought, and he's in with a fighting chance this morning.
Well, absolutely, and you don't have to be an admirer of Narendra Modi to admit the fact that this is the stuff that dreams are made of. He started from the platform in Vadnagar, and he's now, in a couple of hours from now, he'll probably be the next Prime Minister of India. This is the stuff that really dreams are made of. This is absolutely.
And Gaurav, he's worked really hard.
Moment.
If you just look at the number of rallies he's done, Narendra Modi has addressed more rallies than any other candidate in India's electoral history, just ahead of a general election. Just the manner in which this campaign has been constructed, he's virtually single-handedly made this contest presidential in its nature. He's made it a referendum on Modi. He's changed the dynamics of the Indian political equation, at least in this one election.
Oh, he indeed has, Rahul. He's travelled across the length and breadth of this country. And as you rightly pointed out, this was a presidential election because the issue was only Narendra Modi. If you look at the way he's gone across the length and breadth of this country, faced opposition from within till the end, many say even now, faced opposition from allies. He overcame all of that, and then to lead a campaign where it's said to be that he will lead the BJP to its best result ever. At least that is what is being anticipated by the BJP. We were speaking to a large number of BJP leaders yesterday. This place was bustling. Even today, this is perhaps a lull before the storm. What we are being told is, apart from the 2,500 kgs of laddus, there are literally thousands of kgs of crackers that are ready on the road opposite. Both sides have been barricaded, and on that road across, of course, this is a truck that has been placed here for security just as yet. What we're also being told that there is an advanced team of SPG that is already going to take over this place should the numbers pan out and should the numbers prove to be correct. But Delhi police, the commissioner was here, the special commissioner were here, the traffic police commissioner were here, and all of them, the excitement clearly in the air here.
You know, I know on good authority that the BJP cadre at the BJP headquarters in Ashoka Road have been itching to let those firecrackers go off ever since the exit poll results came out. But there were strict and direct instructions from Gandhinagar, wait at least till 12 noon on the 16th to be certain that you're winning, no premature celebrations. That's the word coming from Narendra Modi.